Welcome to Dev and Doc, a podcast where developers and doctors join forces to delve into the possibilities of AI in healthcare. My name's Josh, aka Doctor.
And I'm Željko, the dev. Welcome to the introductory episode of the Dev and Doc podcast. We hope that this will be a blend of two worlds of medicine and technology. This will be a long-standing series where we explore how AI or artificial intelligence can be used in healthcare.
The reason why we wanted to do this was because we both work in healthcare and we both want to make an impact applying AI into the clinical setting. However, what we realized very quickly is that both clinicians and developers are trying to achieve the same goal, to make an impact to staff, to patients. But the problem is we're operating independently and we aren't always talking to each other. And I think this needs to change because there's so many valuable insights that we can share.
What would you say, who is the target of our podcast? What's the target audience?
This podcast is not primarily targeted towards clinicians that want to learn about AI and vice versa, developers and coders who want to learn about healthcare. But I guess people in the wider sphere of that would be interested as well. So any AI kind of clinical research fellows, people who are working in the health tech sector, including kind of business and managerial staff working in this space and who want to learn more about AI. I think, when I started on this journey in kind of artificial intelligence in healthcare, I really did find there was a lack of resources out there for me to learn about AI in general. And it was such a steep learning curve. I really had to spend a lot of time to learn the basics, and it wasn't intuitive, and there wasn't many resources around for me to learn from. So hopefully this podcast can also serve as, some education to clinicians who are just starting off in AI and beyond.
I had the exact same feeling, but of course for the opposite side. So if I wanted to learn something about healthcare, if I wanted to learn something about medicine, it felt like this is impossible.
There's a lack of kind of computer science and artificial intelligence researchers and clinicians who are proficient in that. So I think it's great you've joined us.
I think this is not just the NHS. I feel this is healthcare in general. Somehow I feel a lot of AI and even just machine learning or computer programmers don't go really into healthcare or somehow stay away from that. And I think that's also probably one of the reasons why there are also not that many resources for learning about AI in healthcare.
Yeah, I think that there's a barrier to entry, right? There's a lot to learn before you can deliver true value for both, clinicians and developers, it sounds like. Why don't we wrap up by just going over, things we want to talk about in this podcast and, what our listeners can expect in the coming episodes. Why don't you start?
Yeah, I think one of the main topics, we'll always try to discuss what is currently the state of the art in the field of artificial intelligence. So one of the topics we'll cover in the next episode will be large language models. Of course, everyone is currently talking about that, and we want to see how they can be used and applied to medicine, to healthcare.
Yeah, but apart from that, we also want to talk about, the wider natural language processing, so kind of text-based AI, and bigger challenges like AI alignment. So making sure that AI is working towards what clinicians want, and delivering care to the patients. But then also a lot about kind of diseases and health infrastructures and the nuances that certain departments have. So it's different hospitals and different departments function very differently and have very different workflows. And therefore, if you want to implement any model into that, you need to be very conscious of how the NHS works and how each department works differently to one another.
And also a bit more broadly the AI field. We don't want to simply cover what is state of the art, but we want to also to some extent cover the basics, to some extent have a bit of introduction into the field of AI for clinicians, and I think also on the opposite side, introduction to the field of healthcare for developers. So a mix of both sides.
Yeah. And hopefully some nice interviews with kind of opinion leaders and people who are really working in the field to make an impact. I think that'd be really nice.
I mean, the main goal of this podcast is to improve healthcare. And everything I think everything we talk about, everything we will do here will only have that goal. And we will try to cover all the different aspects that can help us improve healthcare.